Hello everybody, this is Lori Cole, game designer, Quest for Glory designer, a Hero U designer, and Summer Days at Hero U designer, and today I'm about to play World of Warcraft. It's an exciting game where in the game currently there are a mighty battle going on between the forces of good and evil, and I'm going to build a house. In fact, I'm going to build a house, an inn to be exact, from Quest for Glory 5 Dragonfire, and I am going to be playing a gnome. So, we'll go to the screen. You can see this is some of my characters. This background is kind of like the apocalypse that's going on in the real game, but we're going to be in a little pocket universe of peace and joy and silly gnomes. So I shall go down the screen till I find my gnomes, which were probably right there, but I lost them because I wasn't paying attention. These are all the different characters I have in the game. If you have been here before, last time I showed off my house, it looked like this. This house is an elf house. It's in a beautiful lot right against the graveyard, and it's all spooky and ghastly. Well, today we are going to take a look at the game from the point of view of Anagramma, who is the gnome who runs the Gnome Ann's Inn. These are my other gnomes. Mary Lee, my rogue, who is one of the first characters I ever played, and my first ever Death Knight, Pinky the Death Knight, and Candy Cane, because I play a lot of hunters. It only made sense to do a hunter that's a gnome. And you'll notice they're all female gnomes because I can't stand the look of the male gnomes in the game. So, we'll come back to Anagramma and we will enter the world. And as the game loads up, we will get to see the background for the new Founders Point housing area. That's the setting that they have made for house building if you're on the Alliance side of the game, which generally I played Horde, but gnomes are Alliance, so therefore it was, very important to create a gnome that could play and find the perfect place for her inn. And it just so happened that the place that she had the inn in was the perfect place for Baba Yaga to have a hut. So I've also done one where this was Baba Yaga's hut. But as the game comes up, and it will, I'm on this empty spot, which used to be where my house was, and it's all gone now because I have bought a new place, the perfect place for Gnome Ann's Inn. So we shall rise up on our beautiful flying mouse and head all the way away from this lovely, lovely graveyard setting, which was super cool and spooky and had all sorts of neat things, and go to the opposite side, out into the daylight, out into the sunshine, because, gnomes are happy folk and deserve a little sunshine in their lives. And I will look on the map to find our house, because honestly, I've only been there a couple times. So, to build this house on this particular property, I had to check out many different versions and different realms for this house, because honestly, most everybody likes this plot, but this is the plot I chose for Gnome Ann's Inn. You can see, first of all, we've got this lovely covered bridge approaching the house, and that is the house that I had built for the Night Elves on that. It's the same. I just moved it literally to this property. So let's take a look at the property as it is. We've got the, first of all, we have the Night Elf design for the house. It's a lovely design. And it looks pretty good in this. It just doesn't quite have the mood and the ghostly eeriness that, of course, the graveyard setting does. But this is quite a nice setting. It is right off the dock that comes down here that is entirely usable. It isn't owned, it isn't part of my property, but it might as well be, because nobody else is going to use that thing. So, you know, guests at this inn will be able to go down and do fishing and walk around this lovely beach and things like that. So, as we come around, we had the lovely night elfy things on the side of the house, and lots of night elf bushes and that. We have a raccoon. We didn't bring that with us. That's part of the property. A bunch of birds over here overlooking the water, and we have a sunset view. What do you know? Good view for having an inn, don't you think? This house in the elf house had a nice little outdoor patio, which I think we would like to have another outdoor patio so that you could take advantage of sitting out here and enjoying the sights, enjoying your evening on a cup of tea. And there's an owl fountain, which, okay, fine. Not very gnomish. This definitely still has all the proper night elf vibes, but we're not a night elf. So we're going to do this, begin by properly demolishing everything. And that is part of this gameplay. Okay, see that magical line that you see come up? That shows my property boundaries. And so I can't build anything out of that line. But we're going to remove things rather than build. So first, we'll remove this Cenarian arch. And, well, let's do these candles that are sitting there decorating our entryway. And I guess we'll just take care of the plants. Because, you know, we want plants, but not necessarily those there. And that large thing of plants gotta go. This and that ivy, that large thing of plant, that owl, out, the brazier, the rocks that I put. And nicely, these bushes are already here. They're not part of my property, and that snake is not part of my property, but they do add a nice little boundary to the room. I'll get rid of that bush. I could get rid of that. This is not part of the house. This is a trailer. It says it is a Surwich peddler's wagon, and that was just to give that lovely archway. It's got a light on it that you can see at night, and lights are very rare in outdoors things. So I will take that house, and I will say, it's gone. And there's a behemoth platform and other things to make it look like it was built in and proper to this place. Take out the trellises, take out the ground, take out the beams, take out anything else that I added to this, just to make that wagon look like it belonged. There's another bush. It's gone. There's a flower. Oop, that's a house. I wasn't trying to move the house. Get to the flower. Flower, gone. Greenhouse, gone. Get rid of all these plants. And that table, and that chair, and all the things. Because we want to start from scratch and really create the expression of what it means to be a gnome here, and what it means to have an inn here in Founders Point in World of Warcraft. You can see so much of this stuff was stuff I added to the game. That was a boulder, and it fit right against that real area boulder, so everything fit in pretty nicely. It really worked. But we're, again, starting from scratch. And it doesn't look exactly, even without all the doodads and frills that I put onto the game, that it doesn't really look like a gnome place yet. So we definitely have to do some some editing here. Get rid of that one. And that thing. That bush. So, all of this, as you see, customed just to make it look just the way I wanted it to. Alright, coming around to the door, we still have a candle. We have some ivy, which we don't need. Get rid of the ivy. We have a moonstone, we'll get rid of. We have some more ivy. We have creeping ivy there. And I can't quite get to the thing that's on the other side of the door, but it'll go away when I change the house. Alright, so this is the base house minus another ivy or so. I didn't do much with the top of the house, but there is a couple things, like this thing doesn't belong there. So, I think that's all the customization I did. You can still see the sun will be going down as we sit here and do this. And it's a very nice, pleasant location. And look at that view. I mean, it's a very pretty place. Wouldn't you like to have an inn here? Well, she certainly would. So, what should we do about this house? It's not gnomish, so let's do something about making it look more like a gnome house. We will go to Edit House Exterior, and there we have it. On a night elf house, we're going to a human house. Ta-ta! And we have a human house. Well, that's really dull and boring. What can we do with this thing? First of all, do we want a medium house? Well, it's not too bad. It's not right, but it's not bad. Alright, house size medium. Base size, we want cottage. Looking like the cottage outside. Okay. Roof style. I don't want that roof. What does this look like? That looks more traditional. I like that better. A simple roof. Okay, now it's looking a lot more integrated. Looks like the kind of thing that you would see. Looks a little like the style. And roof color. Well, we could go with mustard. Okay. Or violet. Violet's a little subdued. Crimson. Just not that exciting. Nutmeg. Even less exciting. Forest. Back to the green. I don't know. I'm trying to think what would be the best color. All of these are kind of dull compared to, you know, say, gnomes. Forest might be the brightest. I mean, or purple. Purple's kind of magic in our world. But this certainly is nice, bright, and shiny. So we'll try that for now. And now we'll change a fixture. And this is a simple doorway. And it's a simple doorway blue. What if we try a different style doorway? Well, we're going with purple. Sloped entryway purple. Well, that flattens that off. It puts in a nice stairway, but I don't know. What else have we got here? Square entryway purple. Well, okay. That's that style. It's not bad, but and that's our choices. We either have a square, a simple, we can go with purple, but simple isn't bad. It might be the best choice at this point. Go to the purple. And okay. But we certainly need things more, you know, different things. Attach a fixture. We could do another entryway, but the minute we do that, that'll erase the one we've got. But, well, why not? I could put a sloped entryway there, and that takes that one down. Now, that's not a bad layout now, having the entryway to the side and having a big window here. but it's a little funky. What else do we got? And let's go back and check out the square. Square has that profile, and sloped has that profile. I'm not sure. Of course, we could do this. I don't know that you can do this. No, you can't in this editing form. So if we go back here, now we have this. Oh, there, we found the thing that was in the wall, because it is no longer in the wall, so we can remove it. And the other thing that was in the wall, in the doorway. And oh my gosh, there's some rocks that were in the doorway, and we forgot to remove these rocks. Well, I think I'll leave those there for now because they're not bad, but it doesn't quite lead up to the door. We'll have to move them. But we're still deciding about this. Well, let's what I was going to try was doing this and going to this and rotating the house around. We do not need to have it, strictly speaking, where it was. We could do it like this. And we've got this style. And it looks very different when you rotate it, because this is going to be the path coming in. But what if we choose to change this up? What if we don't put this here? Change fixture. None. Doors can't be removed, it says. Alright. So, but I want a door. Attach fixture. So what if we put the door there? Or do we want the door here? I don't care for the fact that they're, yeah, it's asymmetrical from the beginning, but you know, that's the way this house is designed. I think it was kind of cool with the door here. Go back down to the square doorway with that kind of entry, or the sloped purple. Well, it does look like it kind of fits together. Let's see what we can attach here. We're not putting in an entryway, we're putting in a, well, we can put in a round window. That's a round window, or a shuttered window. It's not bad. It's kind of friendly. Simple window. It's got good light. Square window. Fine. Wide window. Now that looks more like, you know, the kind of window you'd find on an inn, to my mind. Big, wide window. So let's go over here, and I think we should have a window there, too. Go down to the windows. Wide window. I think that's a little bit too small an area for the wide window, so we can go with a single window. Do we want a shuttered window? I think so, because it doesn't touch the top. It looks a little better there. Okay, coming around to the back. Alright, let us put in, again, this is kind of small. Shuttered window. Yeah, because I like it. This is a wider than tall, so having a wider fixture there works. Ditto with here. We can go back to having a wide window, because that's a wider spot. But of course, we haven't done anything with the top. So we could put in a tower. Now we look like a church. Doesn't look as much like an inn. If we put in a mage tower, well, it's not bad actually. It may be magey, but it also looks kind of fun. It certainly looks more quirky. But then again, we could put in a regal tower. A regal tower is okay. Or a square tower. And that's a square tower. Well, that doesn't say church to me. And it's got a widow walk up there that you can't quite get to, but it kind of looks like fun. You can imagine what the house, you know, the room up there is like. And that's interesting. Or we can have a watchtower. There's the watchtower. And that actually could be accessible if we fly up there. So, that's more interesting. This is definitely different. What can we put in here? We can actually, I think, put in a dormer. We can have dormer windows, simple dormer. Simple dormer here. All right, that puts that profile. I'm not fond of that profile, so we'll just see what else we could put there. A slope dormer. Again, it's giving me the same kind of vibes, but it kind of looks like wings. So there's something to be said for that. Or this one, which pops it up. That's interesting. Or we could put in a covered chimney. Chimney looks like that. Oh, the chimney has its own light. How about that? Or a reinforced chimney. It's got its smoke coming up, which is always a good thing. I think, though, that we'll put the chimney over here. Attach fixture. Oh, we could have more towers. We could put another mage tower up there. How about that? You know, we're trying to go goofy, so it isn't as, dumb as it could be. We have to figure out how goofy we want it to be, or whether we really want it to look somewhat realistic or not entirely crazy. But let's go back to this and put in a window. Tall brick chimney, a wide brick chimney, a reinforced chimney, covered chimney. Covered chimney gives me that weird light. Do I want a chimney there? It's kind of irregular. I do not really want this chimney. I really want a simple slope dormer or something like that. Let's see. Simple dormer is that shape, and that's that shape. And from the side, it looks pretty good. I like the shape of it. And it doesn't quite mirror this, which says the door probably should have that same kind of slope if we're going to do that. So that was a sloped entryway, but that's not really sloping. Simpler, and then simple entry. There. Now we've got the kind of slope we got there. But this is a smaller profile. If we do the sloped purple, it has a slightly longer staircase, which is kind of fun. And if we go to the square, I think we'll compromise with the square, because I think that's a slightly longer profile on the stairs. You can see how exciting this is. I'm going to take that out, because I think we'll do the fireplace over here. And tall brick. That gives me that look. It's really red brick. It doesn't quite go with my aesthetic here. Simple, which shows up like that. Reinforced chimney shows up like that, and covered chimney shows up like that. Okay. I'll put in some windows, and then we get to decorate the outside. Because we're going back down to the windows. Probably too wide, because we can do that. Wide windows. There we go. Does that look like an in place to you? It's a shame we can't put up another story. We can put up a large tower. Oh, that large tower looks totally different than this large tower. And that gives us this profile. That's kind of fun. What are you doing? Yeah. We can make it look all sorts of topsy-turvy, which is not a bad thing, really. another chimney there. Covered chimney. Got 2 covered chimneys. And a large tower of purple. Oh no, it covers the chimneys. Can't do that. And besides, I don't want to really do that, but I was just checking. You never know what you'll get when you don't check. So I think I will none that. Having this there will give us light there, which, see, as you can see, the sun's starting to go down, and this will get darker. But none for now. Okay, I kind of like the idea of having another fixture there. And the large tower purple was interesting. Now we kind of get this kind of goofy gnome aesthetic of you just don't know what you're going to get, which is always a good thing. That one's that match, and then a square tower would be that. I wish I could build up. Would be fun to build up. I don't think any of these things have attachments. You can only build so many places on these. Alright, what if we take out that thing and put in... No, you can't put a chimney there. Okay. I can put a chimney there. Covered chimney. And it sort of blends in. But... And ditto. Covered chimney here. We have tried that before, but it is kind of an interesting look from this side. And there's only so many spots you can put things, as you can tell. And we could put a window here. We could put whatever that is. Another simple dormer. Oh, we can put a simple dormer there and make it look like we have got a very unique and interesting kooky kind of house with 3 different kinds of towers. Well, that's an interesting start. Alright, let's look at it. There it is. The path goes right up to it. It's got a nice view, and it's interesting. And there's our view as we come into it. Alright, so that's the first part. That's the easy part in this sense, because we've got to find nice things to put around it that are interesting and to keep it looking sort of like an inn and sort of dorky, because, you know, that's part of the joy of this. What if we put in some flowers? Or we could put that, we need to put something against the house. We could put this here. There. And then put some between us thing. Make it look like it's overgrown. I don't know whether that's the aesthetic we want, but lots of flowers is always good, isn't it? Gnome Ann originally was in... Oh, let's go take a look at Gnome Ann right now. Come back in. Gnome Ann has got her frying pan on her back. See, her weapons of choice. A watering can and a frying pan, because you can do so much with those 2 objects. So from the point of view of a Gnome Ann, this place is huge. You have to really look up to it. And you could come right up here, and it's a nice doorway, but it's not very exciting. It really needs some work there to make it more interesting and make sure everybody can tell that this is an inn, we could make a sign here. Put a sign here that says inn right there. It kind of looks like right here we could put something there and make it look like eyes. And then it's got a nose for the ring. It's got a ring in its nose and it's got that interesting mouth, but that isn't the right way to say that this is an inn, unfortunately. Okay, I'll see. And we have to go back to the idea of making an inn sign. How about that? What do we have for a... not all the equipment, not everything will work outdoors. So I have to limit it out here to items that can be used outdoors. Let's go to accents first. And wall accents. And there's a large fresh canvas. That might make a good inn sign. So, having selected that, how big can we make this sucker? Go over here to our scale. We can make it that big. Okay. And what if we... It should not be that way. Get it out of there. And then rotate it. 170, so. There. And look at it. Is it... Looks kind of odd, but that's okay. Alright. That can be our inn sign. We'll push it back a bit. Push it down. Okay. Let's see. Does that show up? Pretty well. I wish it were larger. Do I have more than one of those? I don't think so. I need a... Would be better to have it twice that size, personally. If we moved it here and added another one to it, we could use that entire space. I don't know why it can't. Put it right there. For some reason it just wants to be... Looks like it's... This thing is sloped up. I don't know. We can handle it. But this... Now it's fitting in a little better. But I think I need a new fresh canvas. And that would mean I'd have to go buy one. And you know what? That I could do. I believe I know where that is for sale. But I will not do it by changing this, by playing this character and taking her all the way over to the place to buy it. I will instead log out and change characters. Because I got a million of them. Let's go to a character that is where I think I can buy that thing. So let's go back up and take the character that I was playing for you people from the beginning here. Anna Mary. Come here, Anna Mary. She is in Stormwind City, which is where I think I can buy that from. Since I last played her with you, she has gone up a level. She's now at 85 out of a possible 90. But she hasn't done a lot. All she's done is really go around collecting minerals and doing some blacksmithing, because I was really saving her to be played with you people, so you could see how she progresses. And she has gotten better. She has upgraded her things a little bit. In this game, right now, the other system that just came into play is the new transmog system. It allows you to set your outfit, and therefore anything you choose to put on, no matter what it looks like. For instance, if I put that helm on, it would look like that. Or if I wanted these shoulders would look like that if I put them on. Well, now with the new transmog system, I have set this so that this is her look, and it doesn't matter what I put on her, her base appearance does not change. So I can have terrible looking clothing, and I don't, you know, this is just a demonstration of what it would look like if I equipped this stuff. And as you can see, I can look awful. But since the transmog system locks your appearance in, she's going to look like this until I choose to change it. Let's see, is this the person that will sell it? Master Painter. I don't know if the Master Painter actually would. I think he does expensive things only. Well, I don't want anything that expensive. I want a blank canvas. Ugh, even a blank canvas is 1,500 gold. But it is a blank canvas. That's what I was looking for. Oh well, that's a lot of gold for nothing. I could get a pretty painting and put it up there, but that sort of defeats the purpose. So, I will go with a fresh canvas, because that's what I was looking for. Alright, I have bought a fresh canvas. And since we're in Stormwind, let's take a nice look at Stormwind. There's the destruction of the world up there. You can see that's where the void is coming in, and that's where the light's trying to hold off the void. But here we have the city, and it is gorgeous. They've done a wonderful job of creating this vast city with this blood elf aesthetic here. And you will see from my horde house when I get to show off the horde house later that we're going with the blood elf aesthetic this time. But it's got some interesting things going for it. But I have bought the thing I came here for. So therefore, let us log out and go back to Anagramma, back at our inn. From Anna Marie down to Anagramma. We will enter the world of Anagramma. You're allowed 2 houses in WoW, one for the Horde and one for the Alliance. And the Horde styles are very different from the Alliance styles, as you can tell. And you don't get that kind of option to build here, to look like that Blood Elf house here. You could just go with the Night Elf house that you saw earlier. Alright, we're back here. That's it. Let's go find that same piece of thing that we just bought. Edit. Canvas. I don't see it. You suppose it didn't add it to the inventory? I'll bet it didn't. Alright, well, so much for that idea. Let's go back. I didn't actually click on it. Sometimes it adds it directly to the inventory, and other times you have to click on it, and this is one of those times. I believe that the purpose of that is so that you could actually, trade it or put it on the auction house or something like that. But we didn't. So back to Anna Marie. And that's the background of the housing area, really. And we'll load up the game. So, the thing I find fascinating about the decor thing and why I'm sharing it with you is that it allows for true creativity on the part of the player. And you're not in a set scenario where you're just going through the motions that 3,000 other people have also gone through to try to save this world. But you've created something that is real, virtual, but it is uniquely your own. Alright, let's go here. And see, there it is. I did not click on it, so therefore, it did not get put in my inventory. So, by clicking on it, we have collected a fresh canvas. And you can see that there are other players in this world. There are other players in the housing area, but that's much fewer players. Especially since to get that property, I had to pick a domain / instance where there were not many people, because otherwise they would have picked the place that I put this house. Whereas the graveyard house isn't necessarily one of the most popular positions. My horde house is definitely in one of the more popular locations, and so I had to switch worlds on that one too to find just the right lot that was open that other people hadn't built their houses on. It's a nice view of the township. And you can see that this is definitely the style of house that they're going with here in this area. And in fact, this was the only style house when they brought this feature online, that you could either get one horde house or one alliance house, and the horde house looked like an orc house and the alliance house looked like a human house. Canvas. There we go. We found it. There is our piece. You can see it is small until we adjust it properly. So, first of all, we'll scale it up to its max. Ta-da! Then we will take the rotate tool and rotate it around. Wrong rotation. Take this one. A little bit, not so much. Let's go back to 0 then and 0 it off. Bring it forward a little bit. Still the wrong rotation. I can't quite get it. Can't quite click on the right thing. And then, why, there. Come off it. There we go. Now we have the right proper rotation. Get that even. Okay. Now we'll come here, put it down here, and I think what we want to do is bring it forward and connect with that one. They are not on the same ground. That one's slightly rotated. This one needs to be unrotated. It's not quite right. It is difficult at times to get it to line up properly. We need to go back to this one, bring it up a bit so that they connect. There. Now that kind of looks like one big sign. It's kind of even looking, although I suspect it's just a little bit, is this off? It says it's okay. Alright, so now we need the words in. How are we going to write those words? Well, fortunately they're straight lines, so we can just make something up. Let's go there and put in some straight boards. Here's a board. Let's try this here. There's an F. That could be our I. Here comes our N. And here comes our other N. It's a little bit big now, though. How big does it need to be? Well, let's see. Take a Stormwind beam and go in here. Click on it. Alright, so first of all, we're not on the same plane as that house is because, of course, I rotated the house and that makes it much more difficult. Okay. Alright. We need to lift it up. .90 degrees. Okay.
It looked like an arrow was following me, but you actually see a double arrow.
So, let's go to this
I have an
control.
arrow on me, and it looked like there was one also aimed at me.
Let's reduce that quite a bit.
Okay, so to me, I had two of them. One
It's
for
a
the boss,
little bit
one for the
large for
boss, and
this,
one
but maybe
towards
not
the
when we
end.
put it onto the thing. Push it back.
Okay.
Alright, now
That's what the arrow looks like. It's double.
needs to go back.
Okay, I did not have to run away from myself.
Alright. Alright. Up, up, up.
Yeah, last time
Alright,
I
that
saw
looks
two
pretty
arrows, it
good.
was 4 arrows, and they hit.
Actually, our fresh canvas needs to be a little closer together. Alright. I know that's still off, but that's okay. Here comes our eye. Let's pull it up a bit. And
Looks like 2 arrows. Got it.
over this way. Up again. There we got an eye.
I see one silver arrow coming from Malaria, and a second silver arrow going outwards.
It's still in front, so it needs to be pushed back. Okay, and back up. Alright. Let's try this with that. Let's see, what percentage was that? Was it 20%, which is the smallest it can be. Let's bring it up just a trace to, say, 30%. Okay. Let's get our next beam. Put it down to 30. Okay. Now we'll go over here and slide it back to the house. Take it over to the house this time. All the way to the house. Let's try rotating it this way so that it's perpendicular. And, okay, that looks pretty good versus the house. Alright, and then we bring up the controller and see if we can get this thing to properly get to 90 degrees. Huh? It's always a tough. Trying to get it right on 90. There we go. Alright. Very good. So far, so good. Let's go to this controller. Bring it up. Bring it over so that it matches that one. Come on, straight. Needs to come up again. And we need to deal with spacing. It's not quite on the same space as this one. Get up a little bit. Okay. The nice thing is this is Gnome, and Gnomes don't have to have it perfect. Alright, there too. Okay, now we will line these guys up so that it works together. So, first of all, everything's going down to 30 for now. You can see how easy that particular feature does to make it better for lining things up. This one needs to go down to 30. And I'm not too sure what the sidebars are going to go, so I'll just leave those. So now, I need to move that over to the house. Get over there. Get over there. I won't use the controllers for that. There. And you. I need you over there. And then I need this character. Oh, look, we got a little bird hopping along the edges. Lots of little birds. Let's see what we've got. It looks like a duck. It is. We've got ducklings running around our property right now. These things will vary as the day goes on. There's that raccoon, but there is the mother duck. And there's a bunch of birds there. bunch of seagulls. So, you can see sun is getting low in the horizon. We need to step this up or we won't be able to see what we're doing. Okay, so all of you guys need to be parallel to the house, or perpendicular to the house at this point. Let's see. Let us go. Let's go back to this one. And okay. And this beam. And this beam. Getting close. Okay. See how close they are. I'm using keyboards for this because it's just easier. Okay. Okay. Alright, now they're kind of parallel. Almost. Close enough. Alright, so... Oh, I just accidentally put that underground. Well, I don't want it upside down, up underground. I want it up there. And I want it to be with its partner. So, now I'll come back here and try to find the right connection. Collect this way. And then... Alright. Alright, let's try that. Alright. Back to the controller. Up. Back, because it's not against the canvas yet. Right, just against the canvas. Let's come forward. And up. So it's going to be parallel to its partner there. Alright. Now we have, that sure doesn't look like they're on the same plane, does it? They're not playing the same way. Yeah, well, there should be both. That's 30, this is 30, and this is 30, so they are the right thing. They just don't look it right now, probably because they're not quite lined up right. Any rate, now we need to do this guy. I didn't do this guy because I'm not very good at this. Good at thinking about these things the right way. I need another bar, obviously. Oh, there it is. Okay, fine. Let's take you down to 30. We'll make you the diagonal. Take it down to 30 first, and then see if that works. Alright, and then take it up. Bring it up, 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 over, over. This is not to the same plane. And then oh, wrong way. All right. Let's try this now. Page up. Let's go sideways. Push it away until it comes in contact with the canvas. Move it over this way. Push it up. Alright, so it's sticking through the canvas because it's not at the right angle yet. I like that angle though. Let's see if I can get it this angle and then straighten that out. No, that's just rotating it that way. Wrong angle. pull it out. And let's see what's going on here. Okay, then that way, and then page down, a little bit down, and back. Well, that's kind of like an N. Just a little bit out, and go over here, bring it back up. And there we have an N. What do you know? It only took us, you know, an hour to make it one N. But that looks like an N to me. And it's an N. We've got the start. That's an N. Now we have to bring these things up. They're not quite right. Why did I think that was correct? I don't know, because I'm good at this. Huh? Alright, so I really want you more at that angle. And you more at that angle. And then I want you to come up this way to about to 90 degrees. Okay. Well, 91 is close enough. And you. Okay. And this one. I want it, it's still on that plane. I want you to come up this way to 90, or 91 in this case. Do I need to rotate you a little this way? It looks like it. Makes you more, well, let's see. Push you back. So, to get you parallel to the house, it's that way. This would be a lot easier if I did not make this stupid house on an angle and that I changed everything afterwards. But I did not. So, this means I just have to work harder because I didn't work smarter. That's 26, I don't know. Because it's wrong angle. Alright. Let's try this again. You're not quite. Straight up and down. More there, I think. Okay, fine. Alright, let's try this. Let's take it up. And pull it out of this canvas. Okay. Go back so we can look to see what we're doing. Pull it down. Pull it over. And pull it out again. And down. There. And then we do the same thing with that other piece. And finish the words in. I can see you people are fascinated by this, and so I will finish this on my own time rather than waste yours. But we've got the start of the words in. We've got a nice path up to the in. Work it out well. We've got a whole lot of land to have fun with. We do need to make this look a little more like a gnome place. And let's go back here into edit the exterior. And see what base style. We said cottage. We could go stucco. Ooh, that changed everything. Yeah? Oh no, do we have to do this all over again? That's stucco, as opposed to cottage. Cottage looks that way. Or stonework. I definitely don't want to go the stonework. Go back to cottage. We lost our windows. That's a shame. Well, Nice thing is it's not too difficult to put the windows back in. But stucco. Stucco has that nice straight angle. Cottage has the curves here. They kind of look better with those windows, so yeah. Oh well. Next time remember that you can't just do that. Put a window here. The shuttered window. A round window. No. Let's go back to simple window. Simple window, because that's a small area. And this one gets the wide end window. There. Of course, we have a round window up there, so maybe this one would be better as a round window, because they've gone round window up there. That's slightly different. I bet I can't match that round window. Simple window? Doesn't match. Square window certainly doesn't. So we'll have weird windows on every window, which, again, not entirely unlike a gnome aesthetics. I'll put a shuttered window there then. These two, I'm going to have these parallel. I mean, up the same, because it just, certain things look better if they're the same. Back here, we'll get that wide window again. And a shuttered window here. Just because. Alright. And we didn't actually change anything. We just went back to what we had. But now we know we really want it. Ta-da. We will go out of this. And we'll come back to our innie. Our innie place. Okay. And let's see here. Sun hasn't quite set yet. But we really want this place to be welcoming and fun. Let's see what we've got here. We could put out a really big statue. But that looks entirely too serious. It doesn't quite go with our aesthetics. And besides, it's a blood elf, and so, yeah, who needs a blood elf? We've got a Windrider's Roof. That's too hoardy. A replica Soul Forge? Nah, that's too dead. That's your Death Knight look. Ooh, we could give our inn a very cool entryway. What if? We've rotated the house in our process. Great. The door is no longer where the door was. Okay, fine. We did change things around. We need to change them back. Sigh. Alright, we want that angle for the door. Change fixture. We want to go with the square door purple. Sloped door purple. Yeah. No. Simple door purple. How about that? There. Yes, we're going with that entryway there. And now we have to put a window there again. A shuttered window. Yeah. Alright, let's see if that's right now that we've messed up what we were doing. There we go. Alright, back to the door is in the proper place. Okay, and fortunately we didn't lose our innie because our innie is a pain in the neck to actually produce. So what else could we put out here? Is it still on? Okay, interesting. We could put in a giant tent, but that isn't very gnomish. Something interesting. A mega coil? Well, it doesn't say in to me. How about that? No. Again, blood elfy. We don't want a blood elf thing. Okay. Put in a rocket-powered fountain. That's definitely more goblin than gnome. But, they kind of share the same kind of aesthetics. It would be nice to have a interesting thing out here, like a gazebo. We definitely need a gazebo. Gazebo. All right, we have a horde gazebo. We have this wooden gazebo. Well, it's fine, except it's, and I don't think we can paint it. It would be nice if we could paint it. Can we? We can. We could get this to look like, well, wrong one. Let's go back there. What's this slot do? I don't know. That had so little to do with it. What does this slot do? There, we can match our roof if we had the right color. That's close. Could get it violet. Cancel for now. We could use that one and have a nice little gazebo out there. Looks pretty good. Or looks back to our controllers. Well, or we could have a fancy gazebo. How about that gazebo? That looks gnomish. That looks funky. I rather like, interesting. This is definitely more interesting than the other one. And it's fairly large. I mean, look at it compared to the gnome. I don't even need to scale that up. But I could. I could scale it up and make it larger. And push it to the edge of our property till it won't go anymore. That makes our property look a little bit bigger. There we go. There we are. And look at that. We have a nice place to watch the sunset. If we had a place to sit. And I think we have to have some chairs there. Something there. Okay. That's a gazebo. We need some trees and that to go with this. Trees. Large foliage. Well, I mean, this goes with that, clearly. And this goes with that. And the other trees that I have, I don't have the right kind of trees because I put them all in the horde house. I'm sorry. But, oh, that snake is in our gazebo. Already. We just placed it there and that dumb snake got into it. What do you know? Outdoors. What if we take this thing? That's interesting. That is a if we come close, it's a replica of a statue with a turtle and a panda sitting on the turtle. But that tree kind of looks like it would go here. What if we take this thing and scale it up? Replica. Scale it really up and then put it on our grounds. Except we'll get rid of the statue. There. It's kind of rid of it, and it's still not there. If we put it all the way in the ground, though, we now don't have the statue. We just have a tree with a ribbon in it. That's okay. Where do we want that? Here? Rotate it a little bit that way. There. So now we have a nice light tree to go with that art color scheme. Pushing it towards there. The thing is, we've got this lovely sunset. We don't entirely want to blockade our view of the sunset, but we are only doing it for this. So that's an interesting tree. Get some large foliage. Let's get some bushes here. Bushes. Oh. It's catching our colors. Rotate it a little bit. Oop, can't. Wrong controller. Let's rotate it. It doesn't really like us being that edge. You can see the red edge says it thinks this is too close to the edge. I wanted that close to the edge, people. I see. Alright, let's rotate it that way. Yeah, there. Now we can do it. We can put it closer to the edge. And Whoop, didn't mean to do that. All right, let's look at that. We've got these things. Push it back a little. As long as it doesn't think the middle part is over the middle, over that line, I can push it back. But it's kind of breaking my line of color, so I don't want to do that. What else do we have? It's this sort of thing that, you know, this is really what you do when you're doing these designs, is figuring out, let's see, what would really work with this? Now, this line is not visible in the real game. It's only visible now, so we don't actually have to worry about it. These plants that are already there kind of make the border for our house, so we don't, you know, in theory, don't actually have to put in so many plants on the edge because it's already bordered pretty well. But I kind of like having plants, you know, near the gazebo so it doesn't stand alone by its little lonesome. And I want to take that. I think I want to bring it down quite a bit and bring it down a little bit and move it over now, that it's so that it gives anchor to that tree, if you know what I mean. It makes it feel grounded to have that there. A little bit higher. All right, so now we've anchored our gazebo. We probably want a path to it. So let's see what we got. Stones. There's a nice stone path. Rotate it. Not when you can't rotate it until you select it, but we'll need this one too, I'm pretty sure. All right. Go to our controls. Rotate it. There. We can put it there and rotate it so that it runs up to the house. Runs up to that. Something like this, and then go here, because I mean, gotta have this thing another part of the path. Rotate it and push it in so that they match, and we can come up and join our other path. How much do these things cost? We've done 54 out of our 250 budget of items, and each item costs a different amount. And these paths are 3 things. It takes 3 points to put down one of these paths. So some things are more expensive than others. That gazebo was probably 5, but now we can come around. We may want to rotate that. Yeah, I think I'll rotate it this way so we actually curve around the house. There, that looks like it's connecting. And then yet another path to join up. So it looks like, yes, you can come out of the front door, you can come to this place, you can come over here and go around to that. That looks nice. We've got a nice path. We could line the path with plants, flowers. That's always a kind of neat thing, but if you have to have an awful lot of flowers to make it look like it's, you know, lining up. Let's see. What else do we need here? We need something interesting back here. We'll need some seats for one thing. Furnishings. We could put a consortium box. That's the right color. I'm not sure what we would do. It does go outside though, which is of an advantage because it's a light system. You know, we're few and the lights are going to go down, and we aren't going to have any lights out here. But we'll think about that. We have some odds and end things. And there we have it. Something to go with our gazebo. I guess we put it here. The perfect hanging chair. to that. Yeah, turn around. And we have a swing. Let's put the swing over here, and let's make it even bigger. Look at that. Isn't that the perfect thing for that gazebo? A swing. Let's check it out. There I am, sitting in the swing right by the gazebo. And it's sufficiently quirky looking that it actually kind of fits with the design here. And I can sit out here in my swing. I mean, I'm a gnome. It's going to be big. But that works. So we'll put a swing there, right by the gazebo. That's looking nice. That's the kind of thing you try to do, is find interesting things that work together. We have a bed we could put out here. Why we could put out the bed, I don't know. Of all the things you could, that don't quite go outside, this bed. Well, let's see what we can do. Maybe we want to put that in the gazebo. I hate ruining the gazebo, but, having a bed in a gazebo? I mean, the other point is to have a hot tub in the gazebo, but, I mean, I've put every other gazebo I've had a hot tub in it up until now. But, yeah, it's not bad. Bring it up all the way. Put it down all the way. And you have a nice little place to sit. It kind of looks like a chair or a place you could jump on. I mean, oh, that's part of the gazebo. Okay, fine. All right. Well, there we go. How about that? That's different. And it is, I mean, the colors coordinate really nicely there. Okay. That was unexpected. I knew I had this thing. I didn't know I could get that thing. Now let's see, what else do we have that's interesting here? That goes with our color scheme of purples, because we went with purple. Here's a stool, but that's really tiny and it doesn't show up. I was going to go with a picnic table, so here's a merchant stand. That goes with our color scheme. We could put that back out here. Leave that out there for now. What else can we've got some pillows that are purple that will go. I'm not seeing a lot of really, really crazy things. There's a painted chair. That isn't the color it is now. All right, fine. A dyed elf chair. That kind of goes. Let's go down to our thing. That fits our color scheme. And that fits our color scheme. A lot of these things fit. That's a nice goofy chair.
Not a bug, it's a feature.
All right, we need a table. Let's look at all our choices for tables here. Not too many wild ones, or ones that go well. There's this thing. I've considered that very ugly, but gnomish tastes are not the same. That actually goes kind of well with the Nightborn stand. So, okay. I will think about how to put those together. Oh, I'm not seeing a good picnic table for this. They'll either be too boring or too weird. That don't quite match up with the aesthetics that we're going with. Because we are going with a set of aesthetics. That's a night elf thing, and it doesn't quite go. Too frilly. Because we have this space over here. Having put in that stuff over there, we have to actually dress this area out. And there's our sunset. We don't want to make it such that we do not enjoy the scenery here. It's important to make to take advantage of this property, because otherwise you've wasted, you know, all that beauty. And
When you call range break, it says
so, yes, we want to keep the natural background intact. Our neighbor over there has the trees I wish I had, but I have them in my horde house, and I don't have them here right now. We need some plants over here because it's just a little bit bare. And we need to put something interesting here because this is just definitely boring. So let's think about what we need to do here. So there's a lot of things we can do. For one thing, I can finish writing out in there, but that's another day. I will put plants around here, and I will find something interesting to put here. We can go inside and start seeing what needs to be done inside to make it look like an inn. If we go in here, we have the Night Elf venue, which we don't want anymore. All of this needs to be removed. Although this layout isn't too bad, we probably could put more interesting things here. So we will want to redo this entire room. It's connecting to a nice little sitting parlor, which for an inn, not bad. We could keep that. We'll probably, we'll redress it, but you know, the interior design. And here, oh, well, this is not actually, this should be blocked off, that part. We're not going in there, except that we will, because, let's change our lighting here. I am working over here, not with No Man's Hands, No Man's Inn, but a shadow and light effect for this room. We're doing a, there's a WoWkia, which is a Discord for people who do housing designs, has a contest for shadow and light, and this is, I'm working on my entry for it. So this is my interpretation of shadow and light. Come in here, and we've got this really spooky thing looking down on us, especially when we're a very small gnome. And we turn around, and we've got a nice, really kind of creepy banner there. So no, this is not No Man's Land Inn. This is something else. Let's go in. We have a very low perspective, and things are weird and eerie, and there's cobwebs and mushrooms everywhere, and weird things glowing, and things like skulls coming out of the rocks. And ooh, creepy stuff. It's kind of scary. I'll jump up there because I'm small. And there's things and plants and weird stuff every which way. So we're having a very eerie mood here, and the rocks are everywhere, and we're going upward, and there's a creepy thing, and we're looking through there, and there's some sort of building back there, and then we have the skeleton here with the weird lights of blue and purple. Very eerie. And then we come out, and there's something out there. There's a building out there. And that's as far as I got, because I have to really work on that building out there. But so far, I think this looks pretty cool. And I do like the lights. I do like the bones and things. You don't know what to expect coming around every corner. So, And whether you're going forward or backwards, there's something interesting to see around every corner, which is very important. And you just don't know what you're going to find. And so that's a very different corner, a very different style and thing that will be clearly need to be blocked off. That I think that's hilarious personally, that face there. It's a statue, a troll statue, but with those eyes, once you put those eyes on it and it looks like it's grinning there, it's just funny. And so clearly we don't want that part of the inn. Clearly there's some things in this inn that aren't quite right, and we'll have to really make them look good. We'll have to get them fitting our aesthetics of what a gnome would think this is like, what it should look like. And unfortunately, there aren't a lot of gnome things, so we'll have to put together a fair amount of stuff. And, basically clean up this room, get rid of everything, although that stuffed animal probably fits in there fine, but get rid of flowers. Oh, I think we should go to a better lighting scheme because it's a little dark in here. And go here, turn back to, this is the default light. Looks like that in the default light. Looks like this in natural light. It gets that reddish, weird reddish tone to everything. If we switch this again to a natural dark, it looks really good in the dark too. I mean, I really like it. And the dark area, the shadows and light area looks good in the dark. Looks better darker, but it doesn't have that eerie glow coming out of the floor everywhere. And the colors are much duller when you go to a natural dark. Well, some of the colors are much darker. I mean, we get the greens coming in that we don't have so much when you have the midnight look. So there's something to be said for a dark room. But I really like it with the blues, really bringing out the colors here. Let's come back and change our color lighting up again. Lighting makes such a big difference. Evening calm. This is evening calm. Again, slightly red cast to everything. It's good for working in here, but it's definitely a color cast. And then back to midnight. That's midnight. And midnight is just very, very cool. But we will return to our default, I think, for now, which maybe we'll go a little brighter. So let's go with the natural light so that we can see what we're doing, because we have so many things that we're going to take out of here. Not that you want to sit here and watch me delete everything, but all of these things, so many things here, are just added on, like the floor, because that's the beauty of this. It's all customizable. It's all things you can put in to make it interesting. And really, it's allowing real creativity in a game that up until now has not had any chance of actually being creative. So I'm just showing off just how blank this place could be once we get around to cleaning everything up. There's a book I need to get rid of. It's going to be blank, and next time we will put this together with the gnome design, because I'll have a week to think about what we want to put here. So this is, again, a work in progress. It's always interesting to show off what we're doing, what these things, even that door, it doesn't belong. Well, if I take out that door, I can't get out of the house. So I guess I need to put a door back. Let's get a door there. Structural doors. We can get, well, we have a choice of one right now because these are indoor doors. So I guess I have to put this, oh, that's the horde door. What do you know? Oh, I don't want the horde door. This is the razor wind. Razor wind? Where's my elf door? Okay. I've lost it. Filter. That's because it had the filter on and I couldn't use this. We'll go back to this door. Can't do this door outside, but it can put the razor wind door outside, which doesn't make any sense, but that's okay. Alright, so now that I have the door back, I can open it up and go out of the house. We'll do a drive-by to see the house now that we've so far. Get on our Mighty Mouse. We'll look at the sunset. Sun's gone down. It's starting to rain here. There's the innie. That's our innie. And that's the house. There's another snake. Lots of snakes on this property for some reason. Here are the things. They're still scattered because I haven't arranged them properly, but now we have this nice place to bounce on in our gazebo. And then we'll bounce up into the flying, take a look around the house from this point of view.
So much.
We even have a flag by our house, a wind flag. So let's take a look. Let's go down the bridge. Let's take a look at our neighbor's house. This is all customizable. Look at that. They have the big pink trees, which I may have to go break down. The pink trees are something you actually have to buy for real world money, and it kind of irks me. But they're so good. These are so pretty, these trees. Look at that. Leaves, the blooms falling down, the blossoms. And this person's made a really fun house. This looks like a gnome house. Look, it's even up the ground. So there's something to be said for raising up the house. And we might think about doing that. I don't want to imitate him. I mean, he's got that big portal here, which doesn't quite, say to me, welcome here. It kind of says, that's kind of spooky. But he does have this nice rampway. And maybe next time we'll get up the nerve to go into his house because it's open. Oh, look, he's got nice lights here. John Rambo's house. Yes. And his house is right here. He has his own ramp up, whereas we have our ramp down to the water. He has a ramp up. That's very cool. All right, let's go to town and see what's going on in town, because this is a new event here. This is a new town, actually. It's a new instance of town because our old one was filled with people from the guild that I am in. Well, one of my characters is in. And this is this is a generic guild. I mean, a generic area, and they have ethereal event in town, and you do things to help these ethereals, which are bandaged people. I mean, really, they are people of energy that you just use the bandage to keep them together, to their energy from dissolving. And you can do events for them and buy all sorts of interesting items from them, like the hookah and these interesting poles. I have most of this stuff. I got it the last time they were up by going to somebody else's place, someone else who had this event up. But that's very interesting, and you can't buy that thing, but I really like that thing. That would be that. And they have an interesting gazebo that they brought in, but that's not for sale. That's so at any rate, that's their event. And you can basically do things for them that they want you to do, and then you can buy items for them. Oh, there's a person here. What do you know? A real player. And you do events for them, and that starts to unlock this equipment so that you could buy these new other things that you could buy from him, like this nifty book with a pink glow that you can use for, you know, just lighting things if you want, and this stuff. But unfortunately, if there's nobody that's actually playing on this server, like that one player was, and my neighbor is, you won't get these things going up very rapidly, especially since Anagramma here is not a character I generally play in the real game, as opposed to my housing stuff. That's my mouse. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye to Anagramma. She'll wave and log off, and we'll go see what I did to the Horde, because I did some really different things to the Horde's house too. Let's go up. Well, let's go from the Alliance to the Horde house. And the previous Horde house was all Orcish, and it definitely well, actually, let's go to somebody that hasn't been there recently. Let's go to Horde. Let's actually go to a Blood Elf. This is in honor of the Blood Elves that I have. So, let's swing down to somebody that would live in this property, like Tamanaro, my Night Elf, Blood Elf. Okay, Inner World. This is a shadow priest, so therefore he was all shadowy. We'll have to turn off his shadow stuff. And we will load the game, and he is loading up in the previous expansion, which was War Within. And the city that was in War Within was Dornicle. So, very different aesthetic than either the... Alright, close. And I don't care about that.
Champion, Zalatath and her devouring host lay
He still
siege
has
to
a
the
shadow
Sunwell.
effect.
The light
I'm
is
not going to listen to you right now, because I don't care. But this... He does not look like he's fully transmogged, as you can tell. That cape definitely doesn't go with that outfit. So...
the coreway must be protected.
Let's go on to our transmog mount. And take a look at our transmog. Well, glory is what he should be looking like. But I did not actually change that cape. This is the Blood Elf heritage clothing primarily, so that looks pretty good. But we could put in that cloak, but that doesn't work. How about that one? Does that look cool or not? It looks a little overwhelming, even for Blood Elves who have, you know, flamboyant tastes. That's a little understated in a Blood Elf kind of way. What about this one? The threadbare coat. Yeah, does that look threadbare to you? I'm not sure about the name of that. That's a that kind of goes, but wrong color red. That kind of goes. But for now, I am just going to go there. Get rid of it for now. And save outfits. So for now, we won't see his cloak, and he looks like he is together. That is a Blood Elf. This is Dominarl, my priest.
Beware of Yeti.
Beware of Yeti, indeed. And he'll ride his phoenix. But that is not what I'm trying to do. What I am trying to do is actually go to the housing dashboard, go to the house. We are not going to Happy Seaport. We're going to the dark neighborhood of Fenris. We're going to put this teleport to house on my thing, and then we are going to teleport to the brand new Horde house. No longer does it look like an orc built it. It now looks like it belongs in Silver Moon City, the Blood Elf place. Here he is staring up at it, and we turn around, and what do we see but that house? That is the brand new Horde house. It's a lovely mix of towers in this very beautiful location. As I said, this is prime real estate. This is location, location, location. And we'll come up, and that is our new house. We have done much to this thing, including putting in a very similar gazebo to the one we're going to put into the Alliance house, but this one has the swing inside. It has this very lovely fountain. It has the lovely trees that I'm crazy about. It has the gazebo, and it has the view of the falls. It still has the working forge for the blacksmiths, and we took out all of the we had a bunch of merchant stands here and things, and I'm moving those inside the house so they are not stuck out here by themselves. That's another big change I'm going to be making, but I don't have it finished. We will go inside into what used to be a very Horde orc Tauren kind of view, and as the house loads, we now have a very blood elf kind of living room that we're coming into, and little cozy places to sit, of course, a lovely fountain to enjoy, a nice fireplace, some wine, very, very much the aesthete, blood elf look, with a nice view out the window of a fountain and some things. So that looks very, very different than the last time I showed this off. We've got mostly this stuff remains the same, because this is not just a blood elf house. This is definitely a all Horde are welcome here. This is my Horde house, as I call it. This is where all of the characters that are my alts to play have a portion of this, have something that represents their character in this house. So right now, this is the game room. I have shown this off in the past, and I have shown off this outdoor area where we can see, again, we've got the Horde aesthetic here of the orcish stuff, and you can see off in the distance there on the mountains, if you look carefully, you can see a Tauren, high mountain Tauren location with the wyvern sitting on top of the hill, and over here again another Tauren settlement in the distance for this house. But straight ahead we have the troll area. Going through this tunnel, we go to, they see a troll temple in the distance. Over here we see the new race that just came into the game, the Haranir. See a location for the Haranir off there, their cave system. Over here we have the Amani trolls that have a fountain off there in the distance and an altar to some Loa here, for various Loas actually. So this is the Horde troll area and Tauren area. And to an extent, that's an orc aesthetic, but the new areas, we go through here, the new area to this place, it's still got its decorations up for Chinese New Year, for the New Year, but I haven't brought that up to date. But yet, if we go through here, we'll come to the areas I'm working on. So we've got a blank room there, and then we've got this room here, which is the other elf. We got the night elves. The
So
here.
which is the debuff where you have a
all of these are works in progress, trying to make,
and what is absorbed?
make it
Correct.
feel like every character in my game
Okay, so
belongs
that's
here.
That's not a movement one then.
And feels at home. And so that's what I've been doing. This needs a lot more work. It needs a lot of rearranging, because part of the fun is just to continually to change, to make it look better, to make it feel like every character in my stable of alts
One where I had to move into the middle, so I kept moving.
look like they've got a place here. And every place, every corner, and everything you look at again in the house has to have something of interest, has to have a style and a theme that goes together very nicely. This is it. So that gives you an up-to-date of all the kinds of things we're doing with the housing. And that'll give you a feel for how the housing actually works in this game right now. I've done things like dyed this door, and you can do customizable on that level. I've put paintings in frames. I have put a fireplace. All of these things, again, are unique. They're changeable. This thing has a thing because you can turn off the fire so that you can switch it on and off. I really think the decor system is pretty fabulous, and it does have the advantage that you feel like you have control over something in the game, which, given the situations in real life, half the time you don't feel like you have control of things. And that sometimes it feels like you're trapped in a World of Warcraft game where you have, no real agency. You're just going through the motions. Well, this reminds you that even in a World of Warcraft game, you can make things look like you want it to do now. Oh, I have to hit that one still. And you can make a place for yourself, even if it's just an imaginary home that makes you feel like, oh, this is beautiful. This is peaceful. You can listen to the water coming off these fountains and the background music. You can look at the falls and see the sunset. And you can do that, honestly, you can do it in real life too. Just enjoy what you're doing. I have a frog here. So, I hope you enjoy this look. What do we got over here? I think that's supposed to be a badger. It looks more like a skunk, but that's okay. Whatever you do, have fun with it. Enjoy what you're doing. Look around. Take the time to really appreciate what you've got going on. Whether it's, background scenery in real life or this beautiful scenery in WoW. I mean, somebody did just what I did with building the house. They put all those little pieces and bits and pieces around, and they moved them, and they sized them, and they changed them, and they created effectively a painting that you can look at from any angle. That's pretty fantastic, you know. So we took a look at the here's the house again. Let's look at it slightly from above. So now that's our Blood Elf style house, and very, very different from what it used to look like. So let's go over to the town. I don't remember what's in this town. And check out what's going on in town. And we have, what do you know, we have the same event. Yes, we have the same event in this world. I mean, this thing was in the Alliance thing. We have the Ethereals here. They are not my favorite event. I hated doing their event, their activities. Oh, this one has a quest for me. He wants to give me a lumberjack ability so I can chop down trees and build things. Oh, I have a guild? Really? What's my guild? Flying Aardvarks! Ah! Bruce Lely is online, Corey. Wow. Yes, this is our guild we made many, many years ago. Also have the Flying Aardvark branch, but nobody's in that one. Correspondence goal, but this was our guild that we once had going. I didn't know anybody was still in it, but we are. It's nice to know. So, this is the housing. And now I will shift off and actually go to the real characters we're playing, because all of this housing, all of the items and things like that cost gold. They cost resources. A lot of them are custom crafted, and you have to have somebody to craft them. And all of my characters work together to, you saw that I have an awful lot of items that I can put in a house. So, right now, I have 5 characters at max level. They just happen to be a hunter, a druid, another druid, and another hunter, and a hunter. So, guess what? Guess who likes hunters? I like to play them at any rate. So then I have coming up also is the paladin you saw earlier. I have a magic user who happens to be a Worgen werewolf. And then I have a demon hunter. That'll be my next character probably to level, because I enjoy playing demon hunters. And then the 40 other characters I have that I'll eventually work to get up their levels so that they can be played in the game. The trolls. There's the Baba Yaga. And my gnomes. Each gnome will have to have their own space in this house, clearly. But they are, And then my werewolves. And my Volpura. These are hordes again. These are the ones that had all the nightstands, had the merchant stands outside. I'm just going to bring their merchant stands in the house, into the house building now, and set up a little store at the front there for them there. We have the pandas, and another panda, the Pandaren, and then my Tauren that trained to be a monk. because he could. And he believes in the Pandaren way of life. So then I have a couple more paladins. They both are Draenei characters. And then I have the Drakthir, my dragon folk, which I really enjoy playing too. So I definitely want to bring up a Drakthir character to the modern thing. To first level. Again, another hunter. But that's just the way I like to play. I like having the pets to be with you. That's his pet. We have the Silver Moonies, so that's the character I was just showing off, Jamanaro. His character, Blackbriar. Both of these I've had since the Burning Crusade, when you were allowed to actually play these this character race. Delight is a more recent paladin. I'm not sure whether she is long for this world, but the goblins. I have 2 goblins with a whole different aesthetic for the game. When we come to our demon hunters, not counting the first one you saw, that's one of my main. And then we have my warlocks. These are the elf characters I have. Marla is clearly a warlock. I mean, look at that. We have Natasia, who is clearly a druid, and then Elise, who is my elf priest. Then I have the brand new race that was introduced, the Paranir, that are a cross between an elf and a troll, because we all know trolls evolved. I mean, elves evolved from trolls long time ago in the World of Warcraft literature, and these are the in-betweens. This is a race that lived underground for many years and did not have contact with the other races of the worlds, and so therefore they retained their halfway point. And then I have a few odds and end characters, like my shaman here, my warrior here. These are my alliance characters who just don't get leveled up very often. And this warlock, Katarina, which was one of my first warlocks. So that gives you a feel for what's going on in the world, in the game. And as of Tuesday, we will be adding in a new patch for the game that's going to alter the gameplay, give us more things we're able to do at high level. They're going to be adding a lot more new decor items, which I'm thrilled about. They're actually adding in a hide-and-go-seek decor game, which I will see how well that plays out. You basically turn yourself into a decor item and somebody else has to try to find you. So we'll see. It sounds kind of silly. This is, of course, my main, Glint Eastward. He is a hunter. He is my first hunter, or maybe my second, actually. I think one other character was... One of the elf Savaria was my first hunter, but this was my first Horde character, and I haven't stopped playing Horde since. So yes, I can honestly say he was my first Horde. And so as he is stationed here in Silvermoon City, which is the hub of all the activity for what's going on in the world. There is the great threat that is going to destroy the world. And it's right here at Silvermoon City. And his skills are, he's a leather worker. And so I can, with his leatherworking skill, come down here, and if I have the recipe, which I don't seem to have any reasonable recipes for what I'm doing, I can, one day when I get more skilled at this, make some decor items. Let's see what these. I can make a rug. Wow, that's not very exciting. Maybe there's a reason why I haven't bothered to. A canopy bed. How about that? That's special. It has a lot of interesting angles that could be used for many things, but it's certainly different. Alright, I can make a round wall shelf. Leather-bound wall shelf. Okay. That's different. Or a leather pillow. That's okay. A hair and ear table. The hair and ear elf trolleys are very much organic, and they make things out of plants. They actually live in giant plants that they have shaped. Let's see, here's a stretched hair and ear rug with those colors. Not my favorite combinations. I'm not sure I'll be using that too often, and I can make a sturdy hair and ear chair when I get the pattern, which I do not have. But I'm not too thrilled with any of those, so I won't worry about it. That's the ones coming up. The patterns I could use in the previous expansion were within. I could make a couch, a goblin couch. As you can see, it's special. Goblins are special. Or a rug. Look at this rug. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't know that I have made that rug yet because it's not one I thought I really wanted to put in a house. Sorry. And the Dragon Isles, I can make a bed. That's kind of cool. That's much more interesting, although it's only really useful from one side, as a bed. Some things you can use for multiple things. Or a tent, a market tent, and I'm not thrilled with that. So leatherworking hasn't been my favorite thing for making house decor. I could make a crate. Isn't that thrilling? Although it has some interesting coloration on it. It's not really the best of all possible things, this rug. Again, not impressing me, but you can see how many all these are expansions. We've had a lot of expansions. I can make that banner. That's not bad. And I can make this ritual drum, which looks pretty cool, and I use this pattern. So stretched tanner's frame and a fence post. I'm not sure why leather workers have to, get to make a fence post, but, it was a decision on their part. But I have been doing, I have been keeping up with my skills in leatherworking since day one. So yes, he is probably the only character I have that is almost maxed out in every skill. That's been there. I didn't quite make it for Dragon Isles. For whatever reason, I did not finish his leatherworking skills. Probably because it was hard to get that last few points. And in Midnight, well, we just haven't done enough, so. At any rate, I want to thank you all for showing up. It's been interesting. I hope you had some fun watching this silly thing. And we will be live streaming a week from now, on next Sunday, where we'll be playing Quest for Glory 5 Dragonfire during the day from 2 to 5. And then I will be doing more live streaming of World of Warcraft for the next couple of hours. So, thank you very much for showing up, and we'll see you next time.